In this example, we're given the equation of an ellipse, and we're asked to find the 7 key points and plot the graph. The 7 key points being the center, the 2 foci, the 2 vertices, and the 2 points on either end of the minor axis. Now, in this example, the larger denominator is under the x squared, okay? And so that tells us that this ellipse is going to be oriented horizontally, with the major axis being horizontal axis. We always have these two relationships being true, so we always take the larger of the two denominators and call it a, the smaller one and call it b. All right, of course it's a squared and b squared. So here the a squared is equal to 49, which means the a value is 7. We always use, again, the positives, they have to be greater than 0. And the b squared, being 9, means that b is equal to 3. Okay, so 7 and 3 are my two values for a and b. Now a gives me the location of the vertices, which are the points on either end of the major axis, and the b value gives me the location of the points on either end of the minor axis. In addition to that, I can find the c value using this formula. I just plug in my values, so I have 9 equals, right, so b squared is 9, equals a squared, which is 49, minus c squared. If I solve this equation for c squared, I would, let's see, I'd maybe subtract the 49 from both sides. It'd be a negative 40 equals negative c squared. Divide out the negative, so 40 is equal to c squared. And so c is the square root of 40. We're going to use the positive square root again to make this work out. We're not going to use negative. And 40 is, let's see, it's factorable. It is really 4 times 10, so that's 2 root 10. C is 2 times the square root of 10. Now, to be able to plot this, I'm going to need to get a decimal approximation of 2 root 10. So I'll go to my calculator, and I get about 6.3, okay, slightly over 6.3. All right, so that will tell me where the foci lie. And I also have the center being 0, 0, because we're not shifting that graph. There's no h or k value, there's zeros. All right, and so from there I should be able to get all of my points. So let's see, the 2 foci, I guess I'll categorize these. So on the major axis, the foci, focus 1 is going to be at approximately negative 6.3 comma 0. So these are going to be the x direction, right? So negative 6.3 comma 0. And focus 2 is going to be roughly positive 6.3 comma 0. Right? So either side of the origin on that one. I also know that the vertices, vertex 1, is at the a value, which is 7. So it'd be negative 7 comma 0, and vertex 2 would be at positive 7 comma 0. For the minor axis, I know that the 2 endpoints are going to correspond to the b value, so they will be at 0 comma negative 3 and 0 comma positive 3. Those are going to be in the y direction because the minor axis will be vertical. And then finally the center we know to be 0, 0 based upon the fact that there's no shifting going on in this equation. With those 7 points, I found my 7 points, now I can get a pretty good graph. Alright, so we're going to start this off by drawing my axes. Alright, in the x direction, I need to hit 7 in each direction at least. In the y direction, I need to hit at least 3. So let's go 8 and 4, just give a little bit of extra space there. So maybe we'll go over here to -8 and +8, and then I'll try to keep my scale relatively consistent by cutting these things in half. There, that's a pretty good scale. And then vertically we'll just try to take a similar distance, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. That should be fairly good. And then from there, just plot my points. So vertex 1 and 2 are at 7 and -7. So we'll plot a point there at -7. We'll plot a point at +7. Those are my two vertices. We'll go to the foci. Those are at -6.3 and +6.3. Those are not too far from the foci, or from the vertices, sorry. They're very close to each other. And then -3 and +3. So it'll be down here and up here. Now the foci are not actually on the graph itself. They're inside, on the interior of this ellipse. So I want to connect the vertices, with the 2 points on the minor axis. And I'm going to try to do this with a smooth curve. I don't want it to be too pointy or boxy. And so we're going to try to link these things with a curve, kind of. It's not going to be perfect, but we can do our best. All right, that's not too bad. I usually do those kind of in quarters just to get the shape pretty good. Try to get some symmetry going there. Okay, and so that gives us all 7 of our points. I did not plot the center, that's in there as well. And so I've plotted all 7 points. I've got my ellipse drawn in, centered at the origin, with the major axis along the x-axis.